Okay, guys, this is absolutely hilarious. CNN couldn't even cover the story of their own defamation lawsuit settlement without putting a fake spin on it. Now, before I get into this story, the reason I promote Virtual Shield VPN is because it works. I use it all the time to hide my identity, my activity, and my location while I'm online, and you guys can try it for absolutely free for 30 days. Just hit this button right here. My link is in the description. Okay, now let's get onto this CNN article. What I'm going to do is I'm going to compare how CNN deals with their defamation lawsuit as opposed to how Phone News deals with it. And when I clicked on this initial URL for CNN that covers this story, I got this little pop-up from reliable sources with little Brian Stelter. I can't do it as good as Mark Dice there. Telling the story, it says telling the story behind the stories. Brian Stelter gives you the facts, fair and objective. And then they want you to sign up for the newsletter. But this was overlaid over this story where they did not give you the facts, fair and objective. They actually spun it. And let's watch how they do that. CNN settles lawsuit with Nick Sandmann. What kind of lawsuit was that? Well, they don't say, and they should be saying it. If you were the average person who wasn't aware of this story, and believe me, there are a lot of people out there who have never heard of this story. What kind of lawsuit was it? CNN settles lawsuit with Nick Sandmann stemming from viral video controversy. Let's read this first line. CNN has settled a lawsuit with a Kentucky high school student who was at the center of a viral video controversy. What was the controversy? Why did it go viral? Said a spokesman from the news network. Here's the first line from Phone News. CNN on Tuesday settled a defamation lawsuit. There we go. Now we're starting to drill down. Now we're starting to get the facts. What kind of lawsuit was it? Well, CNN's not going to tell you. Phone News will because they claim to be rivals. Filed by Covington Catholic High School student Nick Sandmann over its botched coverage, and really that's what it was. It was botched coverage intended to defame a 16-year-old kid. That's exactly what it was. But you're not going to hear that on CNN. We're going to go through this article, and it's completely absent from the entire article. Botched coverage of a viral confrontation with a Native American elder that had portrayed the Kentucky teen as the aggressor. Indeed, it did. And people got the drift. Hollywood stars, people in politics, they got the message of what CNN and the Washington Compost Pile and all the others were laying down. No other details were immediately available. An attorney for the student, Nicholas Sandmann, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Sandmann only tweeted, "Yes, we settled with CNN." The news, what news? The news, just keeping it completely, hey, let's keep this general. No need to get specific here at CNN. We don't need to tell you what kind of news it was. We don't need to tell you why it was news. We don't need to tell you what kind of lawsuit it was. The news was first reported by WXIX TV. The local outlet said a settlement figure was not made public at a court hearing in Covington, Kentucky. The settlement will allow CNN to avoid a lengthy and potentially unpredictable trial. Yeah, you wouldn't want that, would you, CNN? Because there are so many facts in this case. There's so many examples of the defamation and how they literally try to ruin this 16-year-old's life without getting the facts of what was actually going on. They would have lost by a landslide if there was any jury that had two brain cells to rub together. Sandmann, a student at Covington Catholic High School, became a national news story when he was in Washington on January 18th, 2019 for the annual March for Life rally. Well, how did a 16-year-old become a national news story? There's got to be more to it. If you're just the average reader off the street, you're not aware of the story from a year ago, wouldn't you be asking yourself, okay, why did that make national news? What was the big deal? In a video that gained national attention, Sandmann was in an encounter with Omaha tribe elder Nathan Phillips, who was beating a handheld drum and singing at the Indigenous Peoples March at the Lincoln Memorial on the same day. Oh, yeah, that's all there was. That's all that happened. What's the big deal? If you're coming in this fresh, had no idea what was going on, you would still not know what was going on. Well, what was the lawsuit about? These questions are not answered by Oliver Darcy. Oliver Darcy wrote this. He does not deal with that. He does not answer these vital questions. He does not get specific in this article. This is spin, guys. This is literally fake news as they report on their former fake news from a year ago. Another video surfaced days later and provided additional context for the encounter. But the first video had gone viral. Why? We still don't know in this article. Touching off widespread controversy as photos of the teenager and the red Make America Great Again hat he was wearing spread across social media. And why did it, CNN? Why, Oliver? Tell us. Will you tell us? In the second video, a group of black men who identified themselves as members of the Black Hebrew Israelites were seen taunting the students from Covington Catholic High School with disparaging language and shouting racist slurs at participants in the Indigenous Peoples Rally and other passersby. Sandman at the time strongly denied accusations against him. What accusations, CNN? They were accusations you were launching against him. That the Washington Post was launching against him. That the New York Times was launching against the 16-year-old kid. What accusations? Saying he'd been trying to diffuse the situation by, quote, remaining motionless and calm. Major news outlets, oh, here we go. He's going to say it, right? Major news outlets, including the Washington Post, the Associated Press, and CNN, covered the aftermath of the incident. They're still not saying. They're still not saying what it is. This is ridiculous and hilarious. Sandman also filed lawsuits against NBC Universal and the Washington Post. In July, a federal judge in Kentucky dismissed a lawsuit against the Washington Post. Part of that lawsuit, however, was later reinstated in October. And guess what? That's it. That's the end of Oliver Darcy's news article where he was supposed to cover the defamation lawsuit of Nick Sandman against the defamer CNN and the Washington Post and the New York Times and all the rest. Completely dishonest handling of this story. Not giving any of the facts like Brian Stelter says you'll get if you sign up to his newsletter. And let me tell you guys, the message that CNN sent, the defaming message against a 16-year-old, Nick Sandman, was received loud and clear. Let me give you some examples. This right here is from Ron Perlman. Because of the news from CNN, that initiated all this Twitter storm response that you saw from the likes of Ron Perlman, Kathy Griffin, Hollywood stars, singers, politicians, right on down the line, just slamming the 16-year-old kid because of what CNN and the Washington Compost Pile reported. Ron Perlman says, to the little biatch in this soul-crushing image, talking about the red MAGA hat and Nathan Phillips in his face with the drum, your punishment will be an entire lifetime of regret. How about this one from Ilhan Omar? The boys were protesting a woman's right to choose and yelled, "It's not rape if you enjoy it." No evidence. No evidence at all that they said that. They were taunting 5 black men before they surrounded Phillips and led racist chants. This is a representative in the halls of Congress. Ilhan Omar. Sandman's family hired a right-wing PR firm to write his non-apology. Watch this instead of more lies, says Olivia A. Cole, from violent white children who will grow to be violent white men. No violence shown anywhere. They're just taking the they're picking up what CNN and the Washington Compost Pile and the New York Times were laying down and running with it, which is the whole reason for the defamation. This is from Representative John Yarmouth. Check this out. I'm calling for a total and complete shutdown of teenagers wearing MAGA hats until we can figure out what's going on. They seem to be poisoning young minds. This right here says, the conduct we saw in this video is beyond appalling. Even the video that they were showing, the initial video, there was no appalling conduct. And then later videos came out giving context to what was really going on. The aggressor was Nathan Phillips. The aggressors were the Black Hebrew Israelites. The non-aggressors, the people who were just standing there waiting for their bus, was Nick Sandman and his fellow high school students. The conduct we saw in this video is beyond appalling, but it didn't happen in a vacuum. This is a direct result of the racist hatred displayed daily by the President of the United States, who sadly some mistake for a role model. Just slamming. Deborah Messing, mocking, condescending, disrespecting, a-hole. Talking about a 16-year-old kid. Reza Aslan says, honest question, have you ever seen a more punchable face than this kid's? That's from CNN. No mention of that here in Oliver Darcy's article. No siree. Not going to mention that. Kathy Griffin says, the reply from the school was pathetic and impotent. Name these kids. I want names. Shame them. If you think these effers wouldn't dox you in a heartbeat, think again. Nick Sandman says, here I am, Kathy Griffin. How may I help you? Just keeping it totally above board, totally real, totally calm, while he's getting totally defamed by a bunch of psychopaths like Kathy Griffin. Donald Trump weighs in. Looking like Nick Sandman and Covington Catholic students were treated unfairly by early judgments, proving out to be false. Smeared by media. True. Absolutely true. Not good, but making big comeback. News footage shows that media was wrong about teens' encounter with Native Americans. And did you, that's absolutely true, guys. And did you hear any of that from Oliver Darcy? Nope. Any apologies? Nope. Not at all. Check out what Alyssa Milano said. The red MAGA hat is the new white hood. Without white boys being able to empathize with other people, humanity will continue to destroy itself. People got the message loud and clear, CNN. Your fake news message. This is from Lynn Wood, one of the lawyers, the attorneys for Nick Sandman. Nick Sandman, The Truth in 15 Minutes. A mob rushed to judgment to wrongfully condemn, threaten, and vilify Nick Sandman based solely on an out-of-context video clip. It only takes 15 minutes to learn the truth. Here it is, and then he puts a link. Elizabeth Warren weighed in. What'd you say, Lizzie? What'd you say, Pocahontas, who pretended all her life to be of Native American heritage so that she can get some bennies while she's making her way through college? Dishonest Elizabeth Warren says Omaha elder and Vietnam War veteran Nathan Phillips, who, by the way, turned out to be a serious liar, even reported on by fake stream media that he was a liar. But he was a darling for a time for fake stream media. So they used him for their own benefit to destroy the life of a 16-year-old kid. Nathan Phillips endured hateful taunts. Nope. With dignity and strength. Then urged us all to do better. Listen to his words. I'm not going to go through, this is too long of a video, so I'm not going to go through the rest of this faux news report, but I'll leave it as a link for you in the description below. Guys, weigh in on this. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the Google Thought Police, and I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow banned video.